she is dead.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, what's going on, fam? It's your man VACAY-JAY, and yes, I'm back with another video. This is for Tyler Perry's Ruthless, episode 5, the recap. And yeah, the highest is making some major strategic moves. Andrew's finally out, and Laura has decided to stay. And yeah, your boy A.A. Ron is in for it. Yeah, we're definitely going to break it down. So the name of this episode is Close Call, and it reads, Andrew takes on a dangerous mission to prove his loyalty to the highest. The FBI presses Sheriff Conley for information on the Rakadushi. And Aaron gets a private audience with the highest. So where did we leave off? We left off with Aaron's cell phone ringing in his pocket. And the highest was like, is that a cell phone? And he calls for the guards. The guards immediately go over with the straps, pointing it at Aaron, because, of course, the highest is on high alert. And he's asking him, does he have a cell phone? And he says, yes, he does. And he tells him to bring the cell phone over to him. Of course, you know that the lowest, the highest, he does not like cell phones at all. So Aaron goes over, he kneels down, gives him the phone. And, of course, your boy River's like, listen, say yes, your highest. You know, they're making sure he's staying in line. And the highest tells him to call the number that just called him and put it on speakerphone so they can hear the call. So supposedly the last person that called him was his mom. So he gets his mother on the phone. He says everything is fine. They're out there hiking. They met some nice people and everything else like that. She gets the dad on the phone. And he's like, no, I just need to go. And then what happens is he's like, yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the tent. He's like, yeah, you know, we enjoyed the blue tent. He's like, no, it's red. And the highest hangs up and says, oh, you really were going to do that? You were going to tip them off? He's like, no. What do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? He said, you know what? Take them away. So the highest is highly upset, of course, because he's like, the phone is the government and they can track you down and everything else like that. This is evil. And he's blaming Daikon. He's saying, Daikon, who was supposed to check the bag? And George stands up and says, it's my fault. I was supposed to check it. And Daikon's like, listen, that falls all on me. And George is insistent and says, listen, sir, it's my fault. I will take the blame. And he's like, really? Do you want to go to the punishment trailer? You sure? He's like, yes, sir. It was my fault. Please send me to the punishment trailer. So he is willingly going to take the blame for Daikon. That's weird, right? So, of course, the highest is looking at Daikon like, yo, what is going on here? But George is insistent, so he sends George to the punishment trailer. This is kind of weird. Why would George stand up like that? So the highest goes into how the government is evil, how the cell phones can track everything, and we don't like cell phones. We're going to make sure that everybody checks everything, and he is highly upset. Of course, he's blaming it all on Daikon, but for whatever reason, George is stepping up. So he sends George away, but the highest is still going in about the cell phones and everything. So he dismisses everybody, and your boy Manny apologizes, and he apologizes really, really bad. He's like, just go to your post. So he's looking at Daikon, and the highest is like, listen, why would George step up like that and take the blame? He's like, you better not be messing around with him. And Daikon is like, no, he loves you. He loves you. He's like, are you sure? You sure he doesn't love you? So he's questioning again Daikon as to why George is stepping up. So here we are in a punishment trailer with Andrew. The highest goes in to talk to Andrew. And again, Andrew is very apologetic. I'm sorry, your highest. He's like, listen, you're the government. Why should I trust you? You know, and he's like, well, you know, I did kill an FBI agent, you know, and I already have that plan. He said, yeah, I understand you have a plan. Well, guess what? You're going to be able to implement this plan now and to make it happen. He's like, listen, your highest, I promise I will prove it to you. You know, I'm loyal to you. You know, I'm not part of the government anymore. And he kisses his hand to let him know that he is loyal to the Raku. He's going to say anything that he needs to finally get out of that punishment trailer. So the highest tells Daikon to show him where the car is with Brian and Lynn's body in it so Andrew can execute the plan. Your boy Daikon rolls up on your boy Andrew, says, man, you have 100,000 lives, right? So once again, Andrew escapes punishment and he's finally getting out of this trailer. I know he's happy about it. So Daikon is like, listen, you know what? You hear the children? You see the children right there? Because the highest said, listen, if you don't come back, he's going to take the children, hang them on the fence and put his name on it. And Andrew's like, listen, I'm coming back. You don't have to show me the children. You don't have to show me none of that. I'm definitely going to finish the mission and go back. So now Andrew has these children on his head. He better come back and do what he needs to do. So here we are with the FBI and the sheriff. And yeah, your boy Cal is really getting on Sheriff Conley like, yo, you're going to tell us what you know about the Raku and all this and that. He's really pressing him. So, of course, the FBI chief, she's like, listen, go outside, take a walk, calm down, because he was really getting intense with Sheriff Conley trying to get information out of him about the FBI. So she has him go outside and she apologizes to Sheriff Conley. And Sheriff Conley's like, listen, I know what this is. This is a good cop, bad cop type of thing. And she's like, yeah, I guess, He's like, listen, I am the sheriff of this town. He's like, what do you want to know? He's like, listen, you need to tell me about the Raku because we need to know where Brian is. And he's like, listen, these people are good people. I don't know where Brian is. I don't know what's going on. And Sheriff Conley is just playing and he's not going to tell him anything. So she's like, you know what? I didn't want to have to do this, but we're going to have to do what we have to do, right? So he's like, what? What are you talking about? So the chief, she gets up and she walks out the door and she tells everybody to go ahead. They come in with boxes. The FBI is coming in furiously with boxes. They're going to do their research. They're going to investigate this. They're going to find out what happened to Brian. Of course, Sheriff Conley is like, yo, what is going on here? How dare you? It's like, listen, you wasn't being cooperative, so we have to do what we have to do. Guess what? Cal is going to be your new best friend. And you and Cal, you guys are going to sit down and talk about the Raku. And he's like, well, what if I don't cooperate? And Cal is like, listen, if you don't, we're going to arrest you for, trying to disrupt an investigation, period. So Sheriff Conley better comply. He better work with the FBI or he's going to be arrested himself. So they are coming in guns blazing like this. They're not shooting anybody, but they are coming in to lock down the sheriff's department and get this information. So now here we go with Kate. And the chief rolls up to Kate and said, hey, you know what? You're going to be my new best friend. I will take that coffee now because you was asking a million times. We're going to drink coffee and we're going to talk. So, of course, Kate is like, wow, okay. She don't know what's going on. But again, she's the innocent one here. Or is she? So here we are in the punishment trailer. Your girl, Insane Zayn, really wants to punish Elder Mother Marva. She's like, no, I don't want you to punish me. Just leave me alone. Don't do it. Wait for the highest. And Zayn, again, very insistent. Listen, I could just hit you and let him know like we did last time. She's like, no. She's like, well, the highest. And she's like, well, the highest. She's mocking Zayn because, Zayn is doing exactly what she taught her to do. But now it's on Elder Mother Marva. See, she's like, I hear what you're saying. So Elder Mother Marva, of course, doesn't want to hear it when she's in the punishment trailer. But Zayn is just doing exactly what Elder Mother taught her how to do. But the tables have turned on Elder Mother Marva, right? So the highest shows up. And Zayn is like, can I punish her now? Can I punish her? And the highest is like, no, calm down. Go ahead, run along. I'll handle this, right? She is so eager to punish Elder Mother Marva. So he talks to Elder Mother Marva and he's about to go and he said, listen, Elder Mother. And she's like, I'm sorry, Your Highest. I'm sorry. She's just very apologetic. She does not want to be punished. So here we go with Zayn and she runs out of the punishment trailer with her head down, right? And who rolls up on her? Scumbag Manny rolls up on her. Why is he rolling up on her? Because he wants to let her know that, yes, the highest has granted them permission to have a wife. and he is going to ask for her to be his wife. And she's like, what? Get away from me. You know, you want to make it up to me? Get away from me. I don't want to have to kick you again. And he's telling her that, yeah, he's going to request for her to be his wife. He's like, you know, me being cut by the raku has taught me a lesson. And she's like, I don't want you. I don't want you around me. Like, stay away from me. That's what you can do. Just leave me alone. He's like, no, 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 you're going to be my wife. And then Zayn gets up, gets around him, and runs off. Like, this dude is crazy. I think they're both crazy. Honestly, they're probably both meant to be together because you got this crazy guy and you have insane Zayn together. What do you guys think? Drop your comments below. So here we go with the highest. He's back talking with Elder Mother Marva. And Elder Mother Marva, oh, I'm sorry, your highest, Miss Sorry. I'm sorry about everything. And he's like, listen, Elder Mother Marva, I did send you on a mission. She's like, yeah, you know, to find out, you know, what men who are strong, they like women, right? And he was like, listen, you were with 21 out of 26 men. Like, seriously? It's like, what makes you think that you could do that? You know, the men are running away from you. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, oh, they told on me? He's like, yeah, they told on you, you know? He's like, listen, I want you to go fix my food and don't do it again. Don't mess with the men again. She's like, you're not going to punish me? He's like, I'm punishing you now. Just stop that. But if I hear about it again, I'm definitely going to send you to the electric chair. She's like, oh, thank you, your highest. Thank you, thank you. And she runs off. And of course, the highest is like, man, crazy. So here we go. Your boy Daikon is spinning the block. And he's asking Lewis what's going on with Manny. And has Manny slept with anyone? Has he messed with Elder Mother Marva? And Lewis, you know, he stands his ground. And he does tell him that, yeah, he went into the infirmary and saw that Manny had his hand under her dress, but he wasn't enjoying it at all. So, yeah, he actually held his ground and stuck with the lie that Manny told him to say. So he's like, all right, well, if I find out anything else, you know, I'm going to come for you. So here we go. Ruth is in the kitchen talking to another sister, random sister, and she is very upset because of the whole marriage thing, right? And she really is like, listen, these men, they're very mean. And Ruth is like, listen, you just have to learn how to be more of a woman to these men. Wonder what that means. Definitely break it down. So she's just giving her advice as to, listen, this is going to happen. And it's only for the men who are, you know, already cleansed, right? So she's like, calm down, just take this outside and go and wash it with the rest. So here comes Joan, tapping Ruth on the back. And she's like, what do you want, Joan? She's like, this is all your fault. It's your fault. She's like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, because you put your hot box on the highest and he enjoys it and he loves it. Now he wants all the men to have wives. This is all your fault. She's like, listen, you know, it is what it is. You sound a little jealous. You know, you sound like you want to be with the highest. And she's like, no, that's not it at all. You know, now these men are going to be forcing themselves on us and we're going to have to be wives and all this and that. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're really jealous now. So they're going back and forth because, you know, Ruth is believing that, yeah, Joan really wants the highest, but she's mad because Ruth has the highest. But it is what it is. So Joan is like, listen, I got to get ready because we're going to the bank. And Ruth is like, really? Well, how much are you going to get? And she's like, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. She's like, really? You know what? I'm going to find out from the highest. She's like, well, you know what? That little hot box doesn't really work for everything. So you do what you got to do, right? So here we go. The highest is walking through handling business. Boy, he's going from one place to another. And Manny stops the highest. And he says, listen, sir, your highest, you know, I just wanted to say I apologize, but I'm really appreciative of you giving us the opportunity to have a wife. He's like, well, not you. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm not cleansed yet, right? I'm not enlightened yet. But, you know, I want to be. He's like, really? He said, well, you have to be chosen. And once we choose you, then you'll know. He's like, okay, thank you very much. So he's about to walk away. He says, listen, why are you so eager? Do you have a woman? He's like, no, I don't have a woman, sir. I don't have a woman. He's like, all right, well, we'll let you know when we're ready to choose you. And then we'll go from there. Of course, for the highest to enlighten him, he has to go through a whole process. So now Manny's on the radar. So here we go. Zayn is back in the kitchen. She's in the kitchen with Ruth, and she is so upset. She's like, listen, I can't have this. You know, the highest, he's telling the men they can have a wife, and Manny, he says he's going to talk to the highest to choose me. I can't do this. I can't do this. And Zayn is going crazy. She's like, no, I don't want this to happen. And Ruth is trying to calm her down. Like, listen, you got to calm down. You know, it's going to be okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. I can't do this. And Zayn is freaking out at this point. She's going wild because, again, she doesn't want to deal with this. So Ruth smacks in the face like, yo, you're acting crazy. You've been acting real weird lately. Are you okay? She's like, no, I'm not okay. You know, it's just crazy. I can't do this anymore. And again, Zayn is just really bugging out with all of this wife talk. So Ruth gives her, you know, some medicines. Like, listen, this is going to calm you down. And anyway, she says Manny hasn't been enlightened yet. So don't even worry about it. You know, the highest likes, you know, weak men. So Manny hasn't been cleansed yet. He hasn't been enlightened yet. So don't even worry about it. The men will only have the opportunity to have a wife if they were enlightened. So she's trying to just calm her down, and hopefully Zayn will calm down. But at the same time, Zayn is freaking out about a whole lot of things. So here we go. We're back in the highest's trailer. And River has Aaron tied up, sitting down on a pillow. He tells the guys to leave. And he's like, what is he going to do to me? And then River goes in and starts to talk about all the crazy things that the highest has done to him, and thinks that the highest is going to do the same thing to Aaron. So he's like, yeah, you know, he'll do it like this and he'll do it like that. And he might put this thing in your mouth and all of this and that. And Aaron's like, get off me, because he's trying to touch him. He's like, you guys are insane, right? And your boy River, he's really letting him know what has been done to him and what possibly is going to happen to Aaron if the highest chooses to do all that. And Aaron's like, I don't go that way. I don't get down like that. You know, he's like, well, you know, it might be enjoyable or it might be terrible. It's totally up to you. It depends on, you know, what you like, what you don't like. And the guy's like, you know, Aaron's like, you people are insane. And of course, River gets up and he's like, we are the Raku. And he's like, listen, man, get off me, get me out of here, and all this and that. And then the highest comes in. And he's like, why do you have him tied up and sitting on a pillow? He's like, oh, you told me to prepare him, you know? And he's like, no, untie him and then leave, right? He's like, untie him and you can go, right? River thought that he was going to do all the crazy things that he does to him, but no, it's not going down like that, all right? So the highest is like, are you okay? I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, he's apologizing to Aaron. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I just want to get out of here. I just want to go. He's like, okay, I understand. He's like, listen, here's your phone back. Do you know that this phone, the government can track you, and that, you know, the phones can tell you when you're going to die? He's like, yeah, I didn't know that. He's like, all right, well, you know what? Why don't you come and sit down and have a drink with me? He's like, no, I just want to go. And look at his face. He's looking kind of weird. Like, he's looking real flush. So he's like, okay, I'll sit down with you, you know, after the highest said, don't insult me. So they sit down and he pours him a drink. And he's like, you're not going to cheers me? You're not going to cheer me? So he cheers him. But look at Aaron's face. He's just staring at the highest. He does not trust the highest at all. He really is like putting the cup to his mouth. He's like, you're not sipping. Come on, sip. So he makes him sip and he takes a sip as well. So he's like, where's my wife? He's like, oh, your wife, she's fine. She's okay. And Aaron says, yeah, well, you know, we came here because, you know, she wanted to be healed so she can have a baby. He said, yes, I know about that. I know about her wanting to have a child and want to be able to have a child. And I also know about her lower back. And he's like, oh, she told you about that? He's like, yeah. He's like, when did she tell you? He's like, this morning. He's like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, I want to see my wife. Can I speak to my wife? And he's like, yeah, you can speak to your wife, but you know what? You actually have to just give up the phone. You give up the phone to me, and then you can speak with your wife. He's like, nah. He's like, listen, you want to see your wife, right? So the highest is playing this whole psychological trick on Aaron so he can get the phone back. And they're going back and forth for a little bit. But he's like, listen, I can show you your wife. Just give me the phone. So Aaron gives him the cell phone. And then he calls for Laura. And who comes out? Yeah, Laura comes out bucket naked with a whole bunch of stuff on her, sits down next to the highest. And she looks like a zombie, but she looks very submissive. She's like, Laura, he's like, you can speak to her. Gives her permission to speak. She's like, yes. He's like, are you okay? She's like, yes, I'm okay. You know, are you okay? Like, yeah, he's healing me. That's what he's doing. He's healing me, and he can heal you too. Right? And she is all in it. Like, he's like, no. He gave you some products. He gave you some magic. We're getting out of here. She's like, no, I'm staying. You know, he's healing me and he can heal you too. You should do it. You should definitely do it. But Aaron's not falling for it. He's like, no, we're going to leave. We're leaving right now. He's like, no. The highest is like, you can go. She's staying. She's not going anywhere, but you can leave. He's like, no, we need to leave. And he's like, guards. He calls the guards and they come in. They are ready to take Aaron out. He's like, no, come on, let's go. We're leaving right now, Laura. And Laura's like, no, we're not leaving. And he's like, no, you know what? I want to stay. And the highest is like, are you sure? You said you wanted to go, but now you want to stay. Which one is it? You got to decide. He's like, I want to stay. He's like, nope. The highest is like, nope. I want you to go now. You're leaving. Get him out of here, right? So he's like, no. He's fighting the guards back. He's like, Laura, let's go. Let's leave. It's real sad. But she is sitting right there like everything is all fine and dandy. She is all drugged up. And they take Aaron out the door, probably going to take him to the freezer. So here we go. We got somebody driving the car. Who is it? It's Andrew, sticking with the plan, but he has a flat tire, right? The tire goes out. So Andrew gets out and he is like, dang, that's the last thing he needs right now. He only has 4 hours to handle this plan. So he goes in the trunk because he has a spare tire, whatever. And we see the bodies. We see Brian and Lynn in the back. Totally deceased, right? So he's trying to get things together, but who rolls up? Yeah, the cops roll up. Yeah, Andrew hears it. He turns around, closes the trunk real slow. And who is it? Yeah, it looks like Sheriff Conley, but it's probably Kate. Yeah, it probably looks like Kate. And your boy is like, shoot, that's the last thing he needs right now. What's going to happen to Andrew? We shall see in the next episode of Tyler Perry's Ruthless Family. Season 4 has definitely been crazy so far. Family, drop your comments below. Let me know what is going to happen to Andrew. Is your boy Aaron going to get away? Are they going to put him in the freezer? What's going to happen to Laura? Family, let me know. Drop your comments below. Listen, fam, if you're family for the first time, definitely do me a favor. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you for your love, your shares, and all your support. I appreciate you all, fam. Again, if you like this video, love this video, definitely check out this next video right here. And until next time, salute.